Hey friends, Stephen Michael Miller here, and this is your morning momentum. So glad to have you on with me this morning. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful morning already. And momentum is all about adding a little bit at a time. It's not about changing overnight. It's not about becoming something different completely right off the bat. It's about little, small, tiny adjustments, little small additions that add to this massive momentum. I mean, if you think about a train, and as a train gets going, it doesn't start off just plowing through and going as fast as possible. It starts with small little rotations of the wheel. And those little rotations get more and more, they get more and more traction. Eventually, it starts to move a little bit more and a little bit faster, and then that builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And so this is what momentum is all about, right? So today I want to talk about being open-minded and how open-mindedness can help you actually grow to more and more momentum in your life. Now, you may be looking for momentum in your relationship. Maybe you're looking for momentum in your job. Maybe you're looking for momentum in your health or your intellect or whatever it may be that you're looking for that momentum in. Having an open mind can help to expand and keep that momentum going, but even more importantly, keep that momentum growing. Okay. See, I'm married. I've got 7 kids. My wife, who is just an amazing individual, she comes from a world different than where I came from. She was born into a family that was raised differently than I was raised. Although we shared some similar beliefs and faith, her upbringing was very, very different than my upbringing was. Not to say that one was necessarily better or than the other or anything like that. But she was born into some money. I was born into some poverty. We had some money too, but she was born with more money, right? She had more money in her family. They raised their children a little bit differently than my parents raised their children. They had different life experiences than I had growing up, and so because of that, we have different perspectives. Now, I want to make this point clear. Different perspectives, even opposing perspectives, never has to come down to a you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong, right? It never has to come down to that. Different perspectives are opportunities for learning and growth. And, I not too long ago, I met some amazing people. I started working in a very specific field, completely different than I had ever done before. And I met an individual who taught me how to do a Rubik's Cube. Now, if you look at this Rubik's Cube, this is a little bit different than probably what you're used to seeing, or your average Rubik's Cube. Most people, when they think of a Rubik's Cube, probably think of a 3-side by 3-side by 3-side Rubik's Cube, right? And if you look at this Rubik's Cube, and if I were to ask you to describe this Rubik's Cube to me, you'd probably say, oh, well, it's quite simple. From what I can see, this is an object that has 3 sides, and of course, because we are human beings and we have brains and understand perspective and all that things, you may understand that there are more than just 3 kind of faces to this, right? 3 faces to this, right? 1, 2, and 3. But from what you can see, this is a red, white, and blue Rubik's Cube. Right? From what you can see, that's exactly what it is. And so in our conversation, if I asked you, hey, tell me and describe to me this Rubik's Cube, you'd tell me this Rubik's Cube is white, it's red, and it's blue. Well, I may come back to you and say, well, no, it's not. I could say that right now. I could say, no, it's not. From what I can see, this isn't red, white, and blue. It's actually green, yellow, and orange. And you and I would probably go back and forth arguing for a good long little while. We would probably argue for a while about the reality that we see that the other person doesn't see yet. And see, this is where being open-minded is extremely important, because the more open-minded you are, the more opportunities you have for learning. Being open-minded doesn't mean being wishy-washy. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have conviction, or you shouldn't have conviction. You absolutely should. You should form strong opinions and back those up with facts and information. But being open-minded means that you're willing to learn and to see things that you may not know or understand right now, that someone else may know understand based on their life experience. So again, when I look at this and I see that it's red, white, and blue, or you see that it's red, white, and blue. I, on the other hand, because of my perspective, can see that it is green, orange, and yellow. And of course, you know this because you've seen this before, but perspective can completely change the way that we see things. Perspective is really important in understanding that there's more truth out there than sometimes what we've only experienced or what we can only see. And, being open-minded is such an amazing opportunity. Not only can it help us to see other sides, but other people's experiences. See, looking at this from this, I can see this and say, oh, this is a Rubik's Cube, and, I don't know how to solve this. I could say that, but, obviously I've learned how to from a friend of mine. But being open-minded will also help me to see that there are other beautiful patterns that can come out of a Rubik's Cube, and you can do fun little things that make the experience a whole lot different. And even better, right? I can make these fun little patterns, and we can do things that we've never done before all of a sudden because we're willing to be open-minded. We can kind of mix some of those ideas together and create something even more beautiful, or something that's a little bit different than what we were used to before. So if you're going through this life, and as you're looking to accomplish different goals, as you're looking to succeed even more and build more momentum, my recommendation is to try to be more open-minded. Listen to people when they come to you with different perspectives. Don't just shut it down as false. Even if in your world you may currently think that it's false. See, I've had this experience over and over and over again with my wife, where she's had one perspective, I've had another. I've gone to battle with my perspective, and she's come to battle with hers. And, in the end, because we are willing to listen and be open-minded with each other. It doesn't always start out that way, right? In situations, sometimes you don't always come to it open-minded, but if you can learn inside of that situation to be a little bit more open-minded, then you can create greater success, faster success. You can create a greater opportunity for positive change than you've ever had before. And it all starts from just being a little bit more open-minded. So that's the challenge for today. Be a little bit more open-minded. Listen to people around you. See and find the truth in their perspective. If you do that, you're going to see even greater success in your own life. This is Stephen Michael Miller with your Morning Momentum. Thanks for being here with me today, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.